What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and today I'm going to be talking about a little bit of a sketchy slash touchy subject. I'm going to talk to you about how to be a slumlord. So if you stick around and watch this video, you're going to see what it's like to be a slumlord, how to become one, and what you need to avoid in the process. So with that being said, let's jump into it.
You're being a slumlord.
All right, guys, I'm just gonna jump into this. And for those of you that have followed my channel, you've been able to see a lot of my properties. You've been able to see how I treat my tenants and all of those things. However, I did a video talking about an eviction. And Meet Kevin, the man of real estate investing on YouTube, also did a video on this. And we've done other videos together where he's come and looked at my properties. And unfortunately, after these interactions, there have been a couple out there people that have decided to call me a slumlord. They've said, you don't take care of your tenants, you're trash, you're crap, I can't believe you're doing this, you're such a slumlord. And I wanted to kind of hit on this topic. And first off, I want to tell you, I do not consider myself a slumlord. And I'm going to talk about what a slumlord is, but I'm also going to explain the process of becoming a slumlord and what the pros and cons are if you choose to be a slumlord. And so stick around for this video because I'm going to hit on some touchy subjects, but they're things that I think you, as a potential real estate investor or tenant, need to know when it comes to dealing with or learning to become a slumlord. Before we get too deep in this, I want to share with you the definition of slumlord. So I plugged it into Google, and you can see here that a slumlord is a landlord of slum property, especially who profiteers. Now, I wanted to make sure I knew what profiteers meant, so I jumped over to the definition of profiteer. It says make or seek to make an excessive or unfair profit, especially illegally or in the black market. However, what I think is unique about the definition of slumlord and then profiteer is it says illegally. Now, I think a true slumlord is someone that goes in and does a lot of dishonest or even illegal stuff to take advantage of tenants in a very, very crap, or as it said, extremely poor part of town. And I will tell you right now, that has never been my intention. That is not what I do. That is not what I will ever do. However, I can tell you that there are people that make an absurd amount of money because they have money and because they buy trash property and they take advantage of people that don't have any money to be able to put them into a better place. And I'll tell you that that's wrong. It's not okay to be someone that does things that are dishonest or lacking integrity or against the law or things that really are just to take advantage of people. Now, what's different between being a slumlord and a real estate investor is the way that you treat your tenants and the way that you take care of your property. But there are a couple points I want to make, and I want to make these points with talking to another real estate investor. Now, this real estate investor owned a very large complex that had been around forever. And it was to the point where his tenants were renting lower in his property than probably any other property in Idaho Falls. And after talking to him, he said, you know what, I got to know a lot of these tenants, and I came to understand that their budget would not support anything higher than what they were already paying in rents. So if he raises rents, he's gonna lose those tenants, all right? They're probably gonna end up on the street or who knows what. So with him, he's kind of landlocked on these lower end rents. But he cared about these people. He was providing them a place to live. He still made sure they had electricity, they had good plumbing, that the properties were in as good of shape as he could keep them in for the budget he had because of where he had to keep rents. Now, that doesn't mean he isn't allowed to still do small rent increases as time goes on, because you've got to do that. Taxes increase, things change, and you need to make sure you're getting a return as a real estate investor. But the point that he made is when he purchased the property, he had big plans of going in and making a lot of changes. However, if he made those changes, those people that were living there would no longer be able to pay for them. And so if you're saying that someone should go in and make changes so that they're not getting a return on their investment, I don't think that's right of you. And he's in this situation saying, well, I still want to provide for these people. I still want to give them a place to live. I like renting to them. The numbers work with small rent increases every couple years that they can still afford. or no rent increases at all for a long period of time, which I know he had done as well. And so he said to me, you know what? I decided once I had the property that I wasn't going to make the kind of renovations I had planned on making, because then these people that I was providing a place to live would no longer have a place to live. Now, I think that is someone providing a true service to people. I don't think we as a community should expect someone that's doing real estate investing as a business to make a decision that would hurt their business. I also don't think it's okay for him to take advantage of these people, because obviously people that have less money are easier to take advantage of. So I think we need to understand that there is a big difference between someone who provides affordable housing that might not be something you would like to live in, but it provides a place for them to live at much lower rents, and a slumlord. Now, I think a slumlord would be someone that's housing drug dealers or housing someone that they know is doing something illegal and charging substantially higher rents, and those people are okay paying it as long as they can stay in this trashy place and no one knows about what they're going on. That would be an example to me of a slumlord. Another example is going into a neighborhood where you know there is tons of crime, tons of issues, and manipulating whatever current situation there is to make a ginormous profit in those areas. But I do not think being a slumlord is providing a place to live that has all of the essentials for someone to live a good life on a budget, because that's just providing affordable housing. Now, this is a very gray area, but the reason I wanted to bring it up is I will tell you that every single property that I've ever purchased is better now than when I bought it. I would also tell you that a lot of times I'm not even messing in the C property range. When you've got A, B, C, D properties, I'm not dealing with those lower end properties because I personally don't like dealing with a lot of the crap that comes with the D properties. Things like evictions, things like consistently following up with rent, things like the risk of dealing with drugs or other illegal things coming in and through your property. And so I personally like to just stay away from them. But when I've got a B or C property and someone says, oh, Chandler, you're a slumlord because you went into this property, you made a couple tweaks, and then you increased rent on these poor people. Look, that's not the deal, all right? I charge fair market rent. I make sure that my properties are nicer after I own them than I find them. And I make sure that my tenants have a great place to live. And if they weren't happy with that place, it's not like I'm locking them into a lease on something that they didn't agree to. They have the chance to go, to look at the property, to see what they're renting, to know what the rents are, and they're saying they want to pay them. Now, if the people are already in there and I'm raising rents, I'm not just raising them the second I buy the property. I have to wait until their lease comes to an end. I've got to get to a situation where their lease is up and they get to choose whether they want to stay at my higher rents after I change whatever I'm going to change in the property, or they can leave. And the reason that people don't leave and they complain about higher rents is they know if they did leave, they would be paying higher rent somewhere else than they would if they just stayed, and they're gonna have to pay to move their property. So at the end of the day, I hope you understand at the beginning of this video, I was being sarcastic. I am not a slumlord, nor do I ever want to be a slumlord. And what I do that makes me different from a slumlord is I wanna make sure that my people always have a good place to live. And when my tenants have a pipe break or a toilet clog or one of those things that affects what I promised to them in their lease, we fix it immediately. However, when it comes to one of these lower properties that I may be renting for $700 a month, that's a great place to live, but they need to understand it's not gonna have granite countertops, all right? That property, they can't expect that, because if I go and make those kinds of renovations, then I'm in a situation where because I spent so much, I have to charge more in rent, and those people can't afford that. So I'm gonna provide them for the best housing that I can on the budget that they want, and I'm gonna take care of them when issues arise. What a slumlord would do is take advantage of the situation, either by doing something illegal or by not fixing things that were promised in the lease and knowing they can get away with it because they're taking advantage of people that don't have money or don't think that they have control. And I think that's where the real difference lies, and I don't think you should ever be a slumlord. Now, by being a slumlord, you can take advantage of people. You can do things that are illegal, and I hope it comes back to bite you. But what I suggest that you do as a real estate investor is treat your people right, but don't over renovate and put yourself in a situation where the tenant you're trying to take care of now can't afford the property that you're providing. Do the right things, do the right renovations, take care of your tenants, and don't be a slumlord. Now, if you enjoyed this video, push the like button and subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to you checking out my other videos where my goal is to help you to create a huge passive income for yourself. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.